Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. So it's been 2 weeks since I've made a RuneScape video talking about coming back to Gillinor, which I have. I was just waiting for the new skill to drop, which is Archaeology for those that don't know. Pretty dope skill. I'm currently level 60 at the moment, and I just dropped 164 mil on a Dragonmatic. An excavation tool I dropped 164 mil on. That's probably going to drop here in a few weeks, like significantly. Anyway, so the skill itself is pretty dope, right? There's layers to it. So you got excavation, you got screening, restoration, and then once you restore an artifact, you can turn it into a collector, and they will give you another currency called Chronotes you can use towards, strictly, exclusively archaeology content like cosmetics and stuff that can boost your XP and upgrade your tools and your toolbox and all that good stuff. So that's pretty dope. Anyways, excavation, really, I'm just gonna break it down for you guys if you haven't played the game yet or know anything about the skill. Excavation is the first part of the skill. It's where you gather the materials up. You grab the materials from an excavation spot, and with those materials you can get an artifact. The way you get an artifact is this little blue bar above your character. You can see it on screen. Once it fills up to the top, you get a guaranteed artifact from the spot. Each spot or area has different artifacts. The way you can figure it out is if you survey that spot, it'll tell you on screen and in chat the damaged artifacts you can retrieve from these areas. Now there's sites. There's like 5 sites total in game, but each site has several different locations and spots inside of it where each area has its own unique artifacts and materials you can farm. And then with these artifacts, you can restore them once you get enough material. You just inspect the artifact and it'll tell you on the screen right here how much of the material you do have and if you're able to restore it at the moment. You can indeed buy these materials instead of sitting here at an excavation site and farming the materials. That's all dependent on if you want to put money into the skill and power level, or you just want to grind and get the materials yourself and not have to spend any money on the skill itself. Me personally, I do not bother trying to excavate all of the materials. I will hoard and AFK until I get a ton of artifacts. Then I'll just go and buy the materials that I need and restore them all in bulk. That's how I level up, because I just have the money to. For those that don't, your best bet is just excavating your materials and going from there. Also, you can screen your materials after you excavate them, which is the soil you obtain from the spot. You go to a screening site, which is at the guild, and that will just give you extra materials that you did not get while excavating. I personally, again, don't do it because for me it's inefficient. I want a power level, and that just takes up more time that I don't need. But for those that can't afford buying materials, that's a great way to get extra materials. You know what I mean? A lot of people do AFK this skill, and sometimes I find myself doing it, but at the same time I try not to, because I want to follow around this little sprite that hovers above each spot. And this sprite is what, if you follow it to each spot, you will get a buffer. Basically, if you look at your buff bar wherever it's located on your screen, it'll tell you exactly what it does. So if you keep following it around, the percentage will increase of the buff itself, and the higher the percentage, the more benefits you get. So at 40% or higher, you'll get a 10% increase to Archaeology XP and a 10% increase to your Maddox Precision. And that at 100%, you will get guaranteed materials, and also you'll get 3 times the Maddox Precision for a single action. You start off at 2, but as you get higher, your multiplier goes up, if that makes sense. And there you go, there's an artifact. So your blue bar fills up to the top, guaranteed artifact. And then if you follow the time sprite around and get your buff to 100%, you'll get guaranteed materials. So I like to usually do that just because it keeps me in the loop, and again, it's more efficient when it comes to XP and materials. But you can just as easily AFK it, honestly. At the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter if you're just going to end up buying your materials. But again, I still just like to do it. It gives me an excuse to keep my head in the game. And a lot of the times I'll slack a lot more when I AFK, and I'm trying to at the same time get my level up and really experience the skill. Thing I seem to notice with excavating is the blue bar above you seems to be faster when you're a higher level and excavating lower level spots. It may come as a given because that's usually how skill works in this game. So essentially what this means is if you're like a level 60 and you go back to like a level 5 spot, your blue bar seems to fill up higher, you're more efficient as far as farming the materials, and you'll probably get artifacts quicker, which to me I seem would be efficient if you want to be able to restore a ton of artifacts in a short amount of time in order to tick off one of the requirements in order to get a higher rank. So I feel like if you are in need of getting more artifacts, but you're a high level and you don't have all the artifacts that you need in order to get to the next rank, it would seem to me that the most efficient way to do that is just go back to a lower level artifact site and just farm really low level spots and get a bunch of artifacts and restore them all. Buy your materials or excavate them however you have to, because that is what I've gathered. And then the higher level spots, you know, if you're level 60 and you go to a level 60 excavation spot, it seems it does take longer to farm artifacts from there and gather materials, just because, you know, it's you're not quite efficient enough yet, you're not trained enough, and you're not high enough level. Another thing is there is a level 58 excavation site, and this is a level 56, but because there's a material cart here, I find it more efficient than the level 58 spot in Chronotes, because there is no material cart, there's no bank deposit or anything, and you're literally stuck in a whole different area. You got to run out of the prison block and back into the main spot and then hit the material cart instead of depositing it right here. So although it's a higher level excavation spot and you're going to get artifacts that are more XP, I feel like as far as training goes, this is the more efficient spot because each artifact is only 100 XP difference. What I mean by that is the level 58 spot, each artifact you restore is 2.1k each restoration. This one is 2k each restoration, so it's 100 XP difference per artifact. But I feel like you get them quicker simply because of the fact you're right here next to a deposit box, the material cart, so it's just easier to manage and get more artifacts per hour versus doing it at a higher level excavation site, which seems to be more inefficient as far as power leveling. But if you need to get those artifacts because you want to be able to collect them and put them towards your collectors and stuff, then that's the only reason. Other than that, if you want to train solely on power leveling, I would take into consideration the spot you're in and if the XP per artifact is really worth the trouble, you know what I mean? I'll just show you really quick. Let me teleport out. I show you the spot. Keep in mind this is right next to a mat cart. Super convenient, awesome, love it. Now this is the spot I'm telling you that is only 2 levels higher as far as level goes, you know, excavation spot wise. Fast travel, and then you got the prison, you got the main fortress. Let me show you really quick. I'll give you a good visual on what I'm talking about as far as your spot and how efficient it is. So here's the mat cart. This is how you would deposit your materials. And you have to go into this prison block, okay? And then you have to run all the way through here. And then past this barrier. Keep in mind, to get into this barrier you need a pendant, which you can get through excavating this and then restoring it. And then that's how you do it, dude. Every time you're done and you're filled up, you gotta run through this barrier and go all the way out and then go to that mat cart. You see what I mean? Like, it's only worth it if you're collecting artifacts. Other than that, do not train there. I feel like it's just garbage. So I'm watching over this, and this is me in post commentary, post editing. Alright, so basically to me it's only garbage unless you have like a sign of porters, anything that sends your items directly to the bank, if you know what I mean. If you have a porters or you have a portable bank deposit or anything that can like store materials and transfer them to another spot, then I feel like that location would be inefficient. But for a lot of people, if you're just the type to go to a mat cart and rely on a mat cart, that spot wouldn't really be the most efficient as far as training goes. But again, that is highly dependent on like what you got available to you. Another thing I found cool about this skill is, like I said, there's ranks. And if you hit, I think it's F1, my bad. You go to F1, you hit your achievements, and then you go over to Archaeology, and you'll notice there's ranks. You got Associate, Professor, and then Guildmaster. Right now, I am an Associate, or my bad, an Assistant. You click on your Assistant. For those that haven't or are not an Assistant, you're going to start off as an Intern, and you can check in your Achievements tab what all you need in order to become the next rank. And right now, so like, I completed the Archaeology tutorial. That's one of the 6 things you have to do to become an Assistant. The next is excavate 25 damaged artifacts. I'm now at 103. You have to collect an entire collector's log. So you'll notice that a lot of the artifacts you have, there's collectors that want them. And if you complete their collection tab, because they have rows of different collections, if you complete just one of them, you will be able to cross that off on the list. And then you got reach level 40, restore 25 artifacts, and then solve mysteries. So there's mysteries involved in the skill itself, and I'll explain more on that. So right now I am an assistant, and when you become an assistant, you can hire your own search team. So you go over here in the guild, fix your compass, and it'll tell you everything once you become an assistant. It'll prompt you over here and stuff. But you have general research and special research. You can hire people to research spots for you, and in return you will get materials and sometimes artifacts. It'll even tell you your rewards at the bottom, like 500 XP for me. I'll get materials and then possibly an artifact, but it's rare. Now the ones that are a good amount of XP are the special researches. Now these ones are like essentially like the mysteries in a way. So as you can tell, a lot more XP, but at the same time to research it takes more, like 100 Archaeology. It costs more Chronotes, maybe even the same, almost the same, a little bit more, and it's less time. So as you can tell, it's more efficient to do special researches if you can. I wouldn't waste my time on general if you have special ones available, just because it's less time, costs a little bit more, and it has way more XP and better rewards involved. Now the way you would go about finding a special research is, my advice to you would be every site that you're at. So let me give you an example. I'm going to teleport over here because I don't feel like wasting time. You go in here, and you can check the map right here. This will teleport you to each site. So as you can tell, there's 5 different sites, right? I call these sites, you got the Infernal Source, you got Chronotes, you got Everlight. Okay, so on each of these sites there's going to be mysteries, and all that is like an observation, right? You go into your environment, and let's say I'm in this room. Okay, this is a good example, and you're hovering over with your custom cursor. If you've noticed, your custom cursor, well, it's not going to show up on my screen for some reason. It doesn't record my custom cursor, but you know what I mean. You just look around and start like right clicking the area, and if it says study or search, you go over to it. Your character will like research it and be like, that's an interesting observation, and then essentially you unlock like a clue or something like that, and then it becomes a part of your special research tab. So my advice would be to go around every site you're at and just search the environment, like be very observant, and you can find clues and something that can partially solve a mystery, and then you can go back and then send your team to do a special research on it, and they'll find out what it's all about for you, and then you'll gain the experience also while doing stuff on your own. So they're giving you XP while you're getting XP on your own. It's pretty dope, something to do in the background, something I recommend. It's pretty cool. And as far as mysteries go, there's mysteries in every site. You talk to the manager there and he'll tell you like what's up. I'll give you a good example. Okay, give me a second. I don't know why I just teleported there. I'm dumb. Let's go to the dig site map, and then we'll go to, let's see, Chronotes. I know I haven't solved the mystery there just yet, but I'm going to give you an example, okay? So if you notice, there's a site manager right there, and you hit mysteries. And you have 2 options depending on what everything you've unlocked in the area. I'm going to say prison break. And then usually what happens when you excavate, you'll find like pages and stuff. I would read those and then destroy them, because it has good important information. All these pages you obtain while excavating, you want to read them all and destroy them, and you'll know exactly what it is you have to do. It's important to read because they'll give you clues, and those clues will help you solve mysteries, and in return you'll get experience. So, and again, it's just as simple as reading pages, and even just listening to the people around you, taking their advice. You know, some of them may troll you, some of them may not. But let's go to the main fortress. And then in here, man, like, it's as simple as just the first thing you want to do is just, like, look, you could study this outer wall right here. Perfect example. So I study this wall, right? Something I have not done yet. And then boom, new researcher available, demon door. Okay, so that is a special research that will be unlocked, and it is a way I can send my team out and research it for me, and I'll get more XP back versus if I just did a general research. But puzzles, I mean, mysteries can be anything from like finding something on a wall to getting a certain artifact, restoring it, and then using it on the spot. Or like, for example, here I found all 4 pages, talked to Liam, he gave me a dial, I put it on the wall, and then I used the 4 color code and opened this up, and there's stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very interactive skill, and mysteries in return will give you XP once you solve them. It's pretty dope. I'm not going to go ahead and tell you how to do specific mysteries because I feel like that's a spoiler and it's just not fair. It's just something I feel like you guys should experience on your own. But to me, that's really what this skill is discovering stuff. I mean, that is what archaeology is discovering old stuff, forgotten stuff, like ancient summoning and ancient invention. It's like ancient methods that were left behind that we're rediscovering again and repurposing. It's a pretty dope skill. There's a few more things I wanted to touch on because I feel like I covered most things. As of right now, I'm only level 60, but here is my tab as far as artifacts go, and I'll give you an example. As far as the collections go, you pull out your restored artifacts, and then you can go over to this collector over here. She's like the main one you can go to in the guild. So not only can you offer her your artifacts, but if you have duplicate artifacts of the same ones laying around, there is other collectors that also collect the same exact artifacts that she does, and you can get more benefits out of the same artifacts. It's pretty dope. So I believe this is going to be Saradomin because it's at Everlast or whatever the name is. I can't think of it right now. But let me contribute. Right here, I contributed 2 of these to her collection, and my reward was like 1,000 Chronotes or something like that. But it'll tell you for each collection how many Chronotes you're going to get when you solve her collections. You have to at least solve 1 entire collection in order to become an assistant. And once you do that, that's just one less thing you have to do. But then when you want to be in a higher ranks, you have to solve even more collections. So instead of 1, I have to solve 5 entire collections for her, or a collector in general, and that'll get me 1 less thing I have to do to become an associate. And then I have to, you know, restore and claim several more artifacts. So yeah, let me give you another example. Let me go to Archaeology collection. Let's take a look at, actually no, I don't want to. You get a journal, you can go and right click it and hit collector information, and then you can filter which god you want. You know, if you know what items you have, like if I have strictly Saradomin artifacts, you filter out the collections, and there's 5 people in Gillinor that collect Saradomin artifacts. So you'll see, let's say what I just had. All right, here's a good example. Okay, so as you can see, I gave her this hollowed lantern, frying pan, everlight heart, trumpet, violin, figurine, etc. Then you go up to Sir whatever their name is, and they are also collecting the hollowed lamp. Okay, hold on. The figurine, these 2 figurines right here. The folded arm figurine female and the folded arm figurine male. He is also collecting that. And again, I'll show you. She also was collecting that. So your duplicates you can give to other collectors as well. And you not only just have to give it to her. So you can get more rewards out of duplicate artifacts. That's pretty cool. I dig that. Another thing I wanted to touch on was the monoliths. So sometimes when you are going around researching or searching the areas in the spots or sites, you will come across certain items. Like there's these hands that are floating around the game. One is at the Dungeon of Disorder, I believe. It's on top of the Zamorak altar. You just grab a hand and you can merge it with a ring of fortune, wealth, or luck. And depending on what tier you are or how far you are into upgrading it, and you just offer it to the monolith. So you right click it, it says offer relic, and there's certain relics that you will find in game, certain items in the spots and locations that you're excavating. You take them, you click on them, it'll tell you whatever you got to do, and you just offer it to a relic, and you will get permanent boost. So you can manage your powers once you offer a relic to the monolith, and you can swap them out interchangeably, but they're permanent powers that you now have. So I have a permanent increase to my maximum health by 500, but I can swap it out for something else. You can unharness it if you want. And my ring of luck, I'm at tier 1 luck, but if I want to upgrade, because I just recently found another hand and upgraded the ring inside of it, I offered it to the relic, and now if I want to up my luck to tier 2, I have to pay 2,000 Chronotes, which I have right now. I could if I wanted to, but yeah, it's a permanent upgrade to just the amount of luck you have in general in game. You can upgrade that just for some Chronotes and finding the right relics that you need, so on and so forth. That's as far as I know, everything I know about the skill. I'm sure I'm going to find out and discover more in the future. Just wanted to give you guys some insight on it and some general tips myself. So you remember that demon door that we studied earlier? Let me show you that we unlocked a special research because we studied that specific area. Go over to manage and look at the special research, and it'll even tell you demon door right here. 40 minutes. Look, it's less than your general. 40 minutes, 1300 XP versus, like 500 XP. So almost triple the XP. And the rewards will be a guaranteed damaged artifact, a legionary gladius, and then 10 pylon batteries you can use towards the pylons and carry that. And you can trigger like a public event where you get increased experience and efficiency or something like that when it comes to excavating. So yeah, just hit the research, give them the 134 Chronotes, and call it a day, and then go back in 40 minutes and you will claim your 1.3k XP on top of excavating for 40 minutes and getting artifacts, all the good stuff. So yeah, the last thing is you go over to Ezreal, you shop with her, you get your Chronotes out, and this is how you pay for upgrades and stuff when it comes to your tools, your archaeological soil box, all that good stuff. But you have to be the rank. So I was intern, we all start off as interns, so you all can buy these XP boosts. Once you become an assistant like me, you can buy these 3 upgrades, which is the soil box, material storage upgrade, and the Matic precision upgrade. And then as you become an associate, you can buy trousers, and it'll tell you get like a 1% experience gain when worn, all that good stuff, and it just keeps going over from there. So if you guys are interested in that stuff and it gives you more of a motivation up your ranks, there's a good example right there. Hope you guys check the skill out. It's a pretty dope skill. Give it a chance and let me know what you guys think. If you guys have already worked on the skill, let me know in the comment section below. Add me in game. I changed my name to Li Kang, which was supposed to be Liu Kang, which was my favorite Mortal Kombat character, but the name was taken, unfortunately. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Probably a progress video. Could be a guide. Who knows? Peace. Stay safe out there.